everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Leanna. Today I'm reviewing the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. This is in the shade Fair Warm. On their website it lists this as $5 USD. I bought this at a Canadian Rexall location. It was listed as $7.99, but it was on sale, so it was under $7. That's a really good price for concealer these days. It's much bigger than it actually, it looks like it's much bigger than what it actually is. This does not contain as much as what it looks like. It actually only has 0.203 ounces or 6 milliliters, as compared to some of my other concealers that's relatively small. So looks are deceiving. It's a very fat tube and not a lot of product in there. But again, with the price, it's not sending you back all that much. So I have, like I said, I have Fair Warm. There are 18 different shades in this concealer. There's 3 to each shade category. So there's 3 fair shades. They only had 3 shades at my Rexall location. So you had Fair Warm, one of the light shades and one of the medium shades, and they all looked relatively light. But there are 3 fair shades, 3 light shades, 3 medium, 3 tan, 3 deep, and 3 rich. So having said that, you'd think that that's a nice even split, but because of what I saw at the Rexall, having a fair, a light, and a medium shade all look the same shade depth, I'm thinking that the shades run very fair. So having said that, I'm not sure that the rich shades will be as rich as what they appear online, if the other shades I saw are anything to go by, because a medium shade should look much darker than what it appeared in the store. From their website, it says that this is a full coverage 16-hour wear concealer featuring a very large doe foot applicator. Very large doe foot applicator. It's one of those ones that has the giant doe foot. It's not flexible at all, and it houses a lot of product. Large doe foot applicator to conceal, correct, contour, and highlight for flawless skin. The highly pigmented formula is lightweight, dries matte, and won't settle into fine lines or creases. It's ideal for all skin types. No, it isn't, but we'll get to that. In a 16-hour coverage, we got you. With hustling to work, running to the gym, and everything in between, your concealer needs to play as hard as you do. Doe foot applicator. The large doe foot applicator applies the creamy formula evenly and precisely for maximum coverage. In addition, the versatility of the wand allows you to sculpt, contour, and highlight. Formula. The intense pigmentation is full coverage but won't settle into fine lines, courtesy of its oil balancing formula that leaves behind a matte finish. Use the doe foot applicator to apply concealer to desired areas. Pat out gently with your finger or a sponge for a smooth blend. So I've done 3 different wear tests on this. However, I have worn it a few other times outside of the wear tests I conducted. I'm just going to get into those and I'll come back here with the rest of my thoughts. I almost forgot, I did swatch this concealer. This was part of my huge swatch video where I swatched all of my foundations, concealers, bronzers, blushes, highlighters. So here are all of the swatches. From left to right, we have the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define in C0, C0.5, Colourpop Fair 02, Kat Von D Lock-It Concealer in L1, e.l.f. Fair Warm, Smashbox in Fair Neutral, Annabelle Concealer in Fair, and the Nude Sticks Concealer Stick in Light 1. The e.l.f. is the same shade depth as the C0.5 in Makeup Revolution, the Colourpop, the Kat Von D, and the Smashbox. The Smashbox looks slightly darker because it does oxidize if you don't blend it out. I would say if you like the Colourpop and Kat Von D and you want something just slightly more yellow, then you'll like the shade of this one. But if you want something more hydrating, then go for the Smashbox. So this is wear test number 1, and I'm starting off with the e.l.f. Camo Concealer in Fair Warm. I'm dotting that under my eyes and on my eyelid, and I'm using this sponge. This is a Real Technique sponge, and I'm blending that out. It blends out pretty well. It is a little bit dry under my eyes, and I'm just going in with a little bit of a second layer under there, which was too much. It looks like it's too much for sure. And keep in mind that under these lights,
the color is going to look a little bit different, but I'll show you in natural lighting in a little while. And again, I dotted too much on this eye. I'm also using what's left over to put a little bit around my nose, so just a tiny bit there, and a little bit around the rest of my face as well. So I'm just going to zoom you in now, and this is what it looks like up close. I haven't set anything. I'm just going to go throughout the day without any powder on, and it is a fairly self-setting concealer, meaning that it doesn't crease too much. And this is what it looks like towards the end of the day. I did wear eyeshadow and it did crease a little bit on one eye, not so much the other. And yeah, a very matte concealer. It covers really well, and in this lighting, hopefully you can tell that it matches my skin much better than it does under the lights. I'm just taking my glasses off so you can see better, but it's definitely a little too dry under my eyes. I'd prefer something a little more hydrating. But I'm going in for the second wear test. I'm trying to dot on slightly less, but I don't think that worked. And I'm blending it with my fingers this time, just trying to tap it in. And it just feels like there's so much product there, so I'm just taking what's there under my eye and spreading it around to my lid. Tapping it out with a finger definitely takes a little bit more time just because it is so heavily concentrated. It just takes a long time to blend it out evenly, whereas some other concealers that aren't this pigmented and they don't spread around as much, it's easier to blend it out with a finger. This one definitely needs a sponge. And again, I'm just putting a little bit on the red parts of my nose, so the top of the nose and the sides of my nose. Today I'm going to set the under eye with the E.l.f. HD Loose Powder in Sheer, just taking that on a small little brush. And again, zooming you in so you can see what it looks like. Adding the powder didn't make it look any more dry than what it already did, so that's good at least, because I do find that it just looks too matte under there. And this is what it looks like in natural lighting towards the end of the day. Well, I still had some daylight left. Also, I love my eye makeup here. Anyway, it didn't crease or anything under the eyes again, which is good. I didn't expect it to with the powder. And this is what it's looking like all around the rest of the face, although I didn't put too much on the face. It looks a little crusty in my nose, but otherwise it looks okay. It's definitely a face concealer for me. For the last wear test, I'm using the Pixi by Petra Correction Concentrate in Brightening Peach, just as an under eye corrector. And then on top, going in with the concealer. Not that this needs a color corrector, but I just wanted to know what it looked like with one. And I'm taking this little fluffy brush. This isn't a concealer brush technically, but I thought that it would work as one. And it does blend out the concealer okay, but after a point it just spreads around so much I had to start blending it in with my fingertips. So yeah, I don't think that a brush is well suited for this one because it is so spreadable. So I tried it with the brush for a little bit, and then I just had to give up and use my fingers. Using the brush didn't cause any more texture or flaking, any more dryness though. Sometimes that can happen when you're using a brush. It can cause micro exfoliation, but that didn't happen here. So all three applications work okay. However, for ease of use, I would definitely recommend the sponge. And this is the close-up. Everything is looking about the same as it usually does. It actually doesn't look quite as dry today, but I did plump up my skin even more than normal with more oils and moisturizers. And I am going to set one side of my face just to see what the difference is. I don't know if you can tell a difference. To me it looks pretty much the same, but we'll see what it looks like at the end of the day, which is happening now. To me, both sides look the same, with or without powder, and I don't think that the color corrector made a difference because this was already so pigmented. So yeah, there's the wear tests.
So having worn this concealer a few different ways, it's definitely a matte concealer like they say, and because of that, I don't agree with their statement that it works for all skin types. I have normal skin. I do have a slightly more dry under eye, and because it's such a matte concealer and it's extremely full coverage, it doesn't look the best under my eyes. Having said that, it's not as bad as the Colourpop concealer. That's the worst concealer I've tried for under my eyes. But it's definitely one that accentuates dryness and accentuates texture, fine lines, anything you have going on under your eyes. So if your under eyes aren't as smooth as a baby's bottom, if they aren't super plump and hydrated, you are going to notice different things under there. And that's regardless of whether you blend it out with a sponge, your fingertips, or a brush. Each application kind of looks the same. The shade itself worked quite well for me. I did find that when I apply it under these lights, the lights make it look super yellow. However, I have a cool ring around my ring light that's probably offsetting the warmth of the concealer quite a bit. Under the natural lighting, which I showed you in the wear tests, I don't really see that yellowness. I don't really see the warmth. It looks fine against my skin. I probably would have gone with fair beige if they'd had that, but I didn't see that at the store I went to. I think that for me personally, I wouldn't buy this again just because I don't like the way it looks under my eyes. It's actually more coverage than what I want, and I have a lot to cover under my eyes because my under eyes are very purple. I have to prep my under eyes really well in order for it to look even halfway decent. And I'd probably just use this more around my face than around my eye area. You have to use so little in order for it to look even somewhat natural that even though there's not much product in here, it's for someone like me, it's probably going to last quite a bit because I'm not somebody who dots on huge amounts of concealer. Even though in the wear test, it definitely looks like I put on quite a bit. That was the standard amount that I wear with other concealers. It just ended up looking like so much by the end because it is so much more pigmented than other concealers, and I'm not used to that. So it's definitely not as bad as Colourpop, but it's probably my second least favorite concealer that I've tried. But let me know what you think if you tried the concealer or are you thinking of trying the concealer. Let me know. I don't think that I would ever buy one again, unfortunately, because it's nice to have affordable options, but this one just isn't for me. I post Mondays and Fridays here on this channel in the afternoons Eastern Time. Thanks for sticking around for this review. I hope that you subscribe to my channel. I also have an Instagram and a Patreon where I post quite frequently. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye, everyone.